Another primitive planet to add to our glorious empire, I announced to my bridge crew, watching the blue-green orb rotate lazily on our main view screen. My name is Crax Sunweaver, Supreme Commander of the Arkturian Empire's 7th Conquest Fleet, and this would be my 357th successful planetary acquisition. At least, that's what I thought at the time. Supreme Commander, my first officer Nyx Battleborn, called out, her silver skin gleaming under the bridge lights. Preliminary scans show the dominant species has achieved nuclear capability and basic space travel. I laughed, the sound echoing across our crystalline bridge. Nuclear capability? How quaint. I remember when our children played with fusion reactors in their nurseries. The bridge crew joined in my laughter, their multiple eyes blinking in amusement. We had conquered worlds far more advanced than this Earth. The Proxima systems fell in days. The mighty Centaurian Republic surrendered before we fired a single shot. Our quantum weaponry made their most advanced technology look like toys. Bring up their global communication networks, I ordered, settling into my command throne. The holographic displays filled with their primitive internet, as they called it. Look at them, squabbling over resources, fighting among themselves. They're practically begging for our enlightened rule. Sir Lieutenant Rax Stormchaser interrupted, his tentacles waving in confusion. I'm detecting some unusual patterns in their behavior. They seem to have an unprecedented capacity for. Save your analysis. Lieutenant, I cut him off with a wave of my upper appendage. I've heard it all before. Every species thinks they're special. Every civilization believes they're unique. But in the end, they all bow before the Arkturian Empire. I stood up, my ceremonial armor catching the light. Prepare the standard conquest package. One demonstration bombing on their largest military installation should be sufficient. After they witness our power, they'll surrender like all the others. But Sir Nyx stepped forward, concern evident in her bioluminescent patterns. The behavioral analysis suggests this species might react differently. They show remarkable adaptability and... Enough, I slammed my appendage on the command console. I didn't become Supreme Commander by second-guessing myself. Our civilization has ruled the galaxy for 10,000 years. These humans are nothing special. Looking back now, I should have listened to my officers. I should have studied their history more carefully. The humans had something we'd never encountered before, not advanced technology, not superior numbers, but something far more dangerous and absolutely infuriating: refusal to accept defeat. Target their facility designated Pentagon, I commanded. One quantum warhead should suffice. Let's show these humans what real power looks like. The bridge crew complied, though I now realize some of them shared concerned looks. The quantum warhead launched, its trajectory perfect, its power unmatched in human experience. As we watched the explosion bloom across their planet's surface, I felt the familiar satisfaction of another successful conquest beginning. Soon, Earth would join our empire, become another footnote in our glorious history. I had no idea that I had just made the greatest mistake in Arkturian history. No idea that this simple demonstration of power would unite humanity in ways we couldn't imagine. No idea that this single action would lead to the most devastating war our empire had ever faced. Send the standard surrender demands, I ordered, already drafting my victory speech in my mind. I expect their response within the hour. Oh, we got their response all right. But it wasn't the one I was expecting. Not at all. Commander's log, galactic date 47.235.90. The humans' response to our quantum strike wasn't the immediate surrender I expected. Instead, their global communication networks exploded with something our translators identified as profanity. Their leaders didn't cower. They raged. Supreme Commander Nyx Battleborn reported, her silver skin pulsing with anxiety. They're launching everything they have at us. I remember laughing at their primitive nuclear missiles, watching them harmlessly disperse against our shields. Record this, I told my crew. It will make an excellent addition to the Imperial Museum of Conquered Civilizations. But then something peculiar happened. The humans didn't stop. Their missiles depleted, they launched their aircraft. When we swatted those from the sky, they fired their ground-based weapons. When those proved useless, they started shooting at us with primitive chemical-propelled projectiles. This is highly irregular, Lieutenant Rax Stormchaser observed, his tentacles twitching nervously. Most species attempt negotiation after a demonstration of our superiority. They're still broadcasting, our communications officer, Petra Moonwhisper, announced. But now they're doing it on all frequencies, in every language they possess. They're telling each other stories. I ordered the broadcasts played through our bridge speakers. The humans were sharing tales of something they called Independence Day War of the world's battlefield Earth. They weren't cowering in fear. They were using entertainment media as tactical guides. Surely they must realize the futility of resistance, I declared, more to reassure myself than my crew. No species has ever withstood our quantum weaponry. That's when Nix brought up another disturbing report. Sir, we're detecting increased neural activity across their population. Their brains are literally lighting up with ideas. Ideas, I scoffed. Ideas cannot penetrate our shields. But I was wrong. So terribly wrong. Within hours of our attack, humans worldwide began improvising weapons. They weren't effective, not yet, but their sheer creativity was unsettling. They attempted to hack our systems with computer viruses, tried to blind our sensors with modified microwave emitters, even launched salvo after salvo of makeshift electromagnetic pulse devices. Sir Rax called out, his voice shaking. You need to see this. They're posting detailed technical analyses of our every response on their global network. They're crowdsourcing ways to kill us. Impossible, I muttered. Their technology is centuries behind ours. They can't possibly. Supreme Commander Petra interrupted. They're broadcasting a message directly to our ship. It's being transmitted from their damaged military facility. I ordered it played, expecting a plea for mercy. Instead, a grim-faced human appeared on our screen. We just want you to know, the human said, smiling in a way that made my exoskeleton crawl. We've seen every alien invasion movie ever made. And guess what? The aliens always lose. My crew looked at me nervously. In 10,000 years of conquest, no species had ever responded to our initial strike with such enthusiasm for warfare. They're adapting their tactics based on our defensive responses, Nix reported. Each failed attack teaches them something new. They're treating this like some sort of global scientific experiment. And they're sharing their results instantly across their planet, Rax added. Their communications aren't hierarchical like ours. We can't cut off their command structure because they don't really have one. They're all just working together, independently but simultaneously. I stood at my command throne, watching the endless waves of human attacks. None of them were succeeding, but they were learning, evolving, adapting, and most disturbing of all, they seemed to be enjoying the challenge. Launch another quantum warhead, I ordered. Target their secondary military installations. Sir Nix stepped forward. Perhaps we should consider a different approach. Their psychological profile is unlike anything in our database. They appear to become more aggressive when threatened. I ignored her warning. After all, I was Supreme Commander Kraxx Sunweaver. I had conquered 356 worlds. These humans, with their primitive technology and decentralized command structure, couldn't possibly pose a real threat. As I watched the second quantum warhead descend toward Earth, I had no way of knowing that I had just made our situation exponentially worse. The humans didn't just survive our second attack. They learned from it. And what they learned would change the galaxy forever. Commander's Log, Galactic Date 47.235.93. 3 days. It took just 3 days for humanity to completely rewrite our understanding of warfare. I watched in growing horror as their global response unfolded. Supreme Commander Nix Battleborn reported, her silver skin now a pale, worried gray. They formed something called the Earth Defense Coalition. Every nation, every military, every scientific institution. They're all working together. That's impossible, I declared. Our historical analysis showed them incapable of global cooperation. Their nations have been at war for centuries. Sir Lieutenant Rax Stormchaser interrupted, his tentacles coiling anxiously. You need to see their new leadership council. The holographic display showed 5 humans, each from different regions of their world. Amanda Blackwood, a quantum physicist from their British territory, stood alongside Raj Patel, India's leading expert in artificial intelligence. Besides them were Marcus Jackson, an American weapons developer, Sofia Kovac, a Russian cybernetics specialist, and Yuki Tanaka, a Japanese robotics engineer. "Look at these credentials," Petra Moonwhisper said, her voice filled with disbelief. "They're not military leaders or politicians. They're their brightest minds. Their strategy is unlike anything in our database," Nix added. "They're not trying to match our technology. They're trying to hack it, reverse engineer it, adapt it. They're treating our weapons like puzzles to be solved." I watched as humans worldwide began implementing their leaders' ideas. Their hackers, previously focused on attacking each other's systems, now worked together, probing our defenses with increasingly sophisticated digital assaults. Their scientists, sharing data across borders without hesitation, began analyzing the quantum residue from our weapons. Sir Rax called out suddenly, "They're launching something new." But our sensors, they can't identify it. The projectile that hit our shields wasn't a missile or a bomb. It was a delivery system, dispersing a cloud of microscopic robots. Nanobots, they called them. Primitive by our standards, but they were learning, adapting, evolving their designs with each attack. "They've turned their entire planet into one massive research and development facility," Nix reported. "Every failed attack provides them with new data. Every defensive measure we take, they analyze and counter." Amanda Blackwood's voice came through our communications, calm and almost amused. "Thank you for the quantum physics lesson, Commander Sunweaver. Your weapons have taught us more in 3 days than we learned in 50 years of research." Their next attack came from Marcus Jackson's team. They didn't target our ships directly. Instead, they fired what appeared to be simple metal projectiles into space. Thousands of them. "Just debris," I said dismissively. "Their aim must be deteriorating." Sir Petra's voice shook. "Those aren't projectiles. They're constructing something in orbit. The debris, it's self-assembling." Raj Patel's AI systems had turned their space junk into a crude but effective orbital defense network. Sofia Kovac's cybernetics team had found ways to interface human minds directly with their newly created weapons. And Yuki Tanaka's robots were already adapting our own technology against us. "They're calling it the kitchen sink protocol," Nix translated from their communications. "They're literally throwing everything they have at us, but with a purpose. Each piece is part of a larger plan." I watched as their attacks became more coordinated, more innovative. They launched swarms of miniature drones carrying electromagnetic pulse devices. When we adapted our shields, they switched to acoustic weapons. When we countered those, they tried gravitational disruptors cobbled together from salvaged parts of our own weapons. Supreme Commander Rax said quietly, "I've analyzed their attack patterns. They're not just fighting us. They're conducting the largest scientific experiment in their history. Every failure teaches them something new about our technology." The human leaders appeared on our screen again. Amanda Blackwood spoke first. "We want to thank you, Commander. You've given humanity something we've never had before, a common enemy. For the first time in our history, every human being is working toward the same goal." Marcus Jackson stepped forward. "You thought your quantum weapons would terrify us into submission. Instead, they've inspired us. Every child with a computer is helping analyze your technology. Every engineer is designing countermeasures. Every scientist is pushing the boundaries of what we thought possible. And we're just getting started," Sofia Kovac added with a predatory smile. "You've made us set aside our differences, pool our resources, share our knowledge. Do you know how much humanity can accomplish when we all work together?" I realized then that we hadn't just failed to conquer Earth. We had inadvertently created something unprecedented, a unified human species, driven by a combination of scientific curiosity and righteous anger. Sir Nick said, her voice barely a whisper, "They're launching something new, something big." As I watched their latest creation rise from Earth's surface, I finally understood our terrible mistake. We hadn't attacked a primitive civilization. We had attacked an entire planet of innovators, problem solvers, and warriors. And now they were coming for us. The real war was about to begin. Commander's Log, Galactic Date 47.236.15. Supreme Commander Sunweaver First Officer Nix Battleborn's voice carried an edge I'd never heard before. "We've lost contact with the Quantum Strike Cruiser Victory." I dismissed her concern with a wave of my upper appendage. Impossible. Their communications must be malfunctioning. No, sir, she insisted, her silver skin pulsing with urgent patterns. They're gone. The humans didn't just disable it. They took it. The bridge fell silent. In 10,000 years of Arkturian conquest, no species had ever captured one of our vessels. The victory carried our most advanced quantum technology, including our latest weapons and drive systems. Show me, I demanded. The holographic display revealed the last moments of the victory. A swarm of what looked like primitive human spacecraft had surrounded it. But these weren't their usual metal tubes. These ships moved differently, almost like they were alive. Biomechanical hybrid vessels, Lieutenant Rax Stormchaser explained, his tentacles twitching with nervous energy. They've combined their biological research with salvage parts from our damaged ships. The human called Tanaka designed them. They're calling them symbiotes. Before we could process this development, Petra Moonwhisper interrupted. Sir, the humans, they're inside our quantum defense network. That's not possible, I sputtered. Our quantum encryption has been broken, a familiar voice cut through our communications. Amanda Blackwood appeared on our screen, standing in what was unmistakably the Victory's bridge. Your quantum technology is fascinating, Commander, based on principles we'd only theorized about. But you made one crucial mistake. Raj Patel appeared beside her. You assumed that because we hadn't developed quantum technology, we couldn't understand it. But humans have been thinking about quantum mechanics for centuries. We just needed practical examples. The footage showed human crews swarming through the Victory, led by Sofia Kovac's cyborg teams. They weren't just studying our technology, they were improving it. Sir Nix reported, her voice shaking. 3 more ships just went dark. The humans are there converting them. Marcus Jackson joined the transmission. Your quantum drives gave us the key to manipulating space-time. Your weapons taught us how to harness zero-point energy. And your shields? They showed us how to phase matter between dimensions. But our favorite discovery, Yuki Tanaka added with a grin, was your neural interface technology. Thanks for showing us how to merge minds with machines. My crew turned to me, waiting for orders, but for the first time in my career I had none to give. The humans weren't just using our technology, they were revolutionizing it. Incoming transmission from High Command. Petra announced, her relief palpable. Supreme High Commander Voss appeared on our screen. Commander Sunweaver, explain how you lost 4 quantum ships to a pre-spaceflight civilization. Supreme High Commander, I began, but Nix stepped forward. Permission to speak freely, Supreme High Commander, she asked. Without waiting for a response, she continued. Commander Sunweaver ignored multiple warnings about human psychological profiles. He dismissed their adaptive capabilities and... Silence, I roared. This is insubordination. No, Rax joined in. This is survival. While you've been ordering more attacks, the humans have been learning, adapting, evolving. They're not just copying our technology, they're reimagining it. A new alert blared across our bridge. The humans had launched a counteroffensive, but not against our ships. They were targeting our supply lines, our communication relays, our quantum sensor networks. They're not fighting like any species we've encountered, Nix explained to High Command. They're fighting like humans. Unpredictable, innovative, and absolutely relentless. Commander Sunweaver's Supreme High Commander Voss's voice turned cold. You are hereby relieved of command. First Officer Battleborn will assume control of the fleet. But before the transfer of command could occur, every screen on our bridge lit up with a new transmission. It was a unified broadcast from Earth's combined leadership. We've learned so much from you, Amanda Blackwood began. About quantum physics, about space-time manipulation, about the true nature of reality itself. But now, let us teach you something about humanity. The sensor displays exploded with activity. Hundreds of human ships emerged from quantum space, each one a hybrid of their technology and ours. They moved in ways that defied our tactical computers, using principles we had never considered. You should have just said hello. Marcus Jackson's voice carried a note of genuine regret. We would have welcomed peaceful contact, but instead you chose violence. So now, Let us show you how humans wage war. Sir Commander, they're everywhere, Petra reported, her professional demeanor cracking. They found a way to use quantum entanglement for instantaneous fleet movement. They're hitting every Arkturian position simultaneously. I watched as decades of conquest crumbled in hours. The humans hadn't just learned to use our technology. They had fundamentally changed it, adapted it, evolved it into something we barely recognized. Commander Sunweaver Nix said formally, "Under Article 47 of the Fleet Code, I am assuming command. Your strategic decisions have endangered not just this fleet, but the entire Empire." As my own crew turned against me, as human ships surrounded our fleet, as our mighty empire faced its first real defeat in 10,000 years, I finally understood the truth. We hadn't found a primitive civilization to conquer. We had awakened a sleeping giant. And now it was our turn to learn about fear. Commander's Log, Galactic Date 47.236.20. From my detention cell aboard what was once my flagship, I watched humanity's counter-invasion unfold. Acting Commander Nix Battleborn had ordered my arrest, but she made sure I could see everything. She wanted me to understand exactly what I had unleashed. Former Commander Sunweaver Amanda Blackwood's voice came through the cell's communication system. "We thought you might appreciate a science lesson." The holding cell's display activated, showing human ships moving through space in ways that violated everything I thought I knew about physics. They weren't just using quantum tunneling anymore. They had somehow merged it with their crude but effective engineering practices. You see, Raj Patel's voice joined in. Humans have always been good at one thing: taking existing ideas and combining them in new ways. Your quantum technology was elegant, perfect, but perfect isn't always better. On the screen, I watched human vessels phase through our strongest shields like they weren't even there. They're hybrid ships. These symbiotes had evolved far beyond their original design. They moved like living creatures but hit with the force of our most powerful weapons. "Your fatal mistake," Sophia Kovac explained, "wasn't attacking Earth. It was giving us access to your technology while underestimating our creativity. Every weapon you used against us became a textbook. Every defense system became a laboratory." The displays showed human forces advancing through Arkturian space, but they weren't destroying our colonies. They were converting them. "We discovered something interesting about your empire," Marcus Jackson's voice carried a tone of fascination. "You've been stagnant, comfortable. You stopped innovating centuries ago because you never needed to. Everything worked perfectly, so why change it?" "Humans don't think that way," Yuki Tanaka added. "We're never satisfied. We always want to know what else is possible. Your quantum technology showed us the door, but we didn't just walk through it. We blew the whole wall down." A new alert sounded. I watched in astonishment as human ships began appearing simultaneously across multiple sectors of space. They had taken our quantum entanglement technology and transformed it into something new. "We call it the Neural Quantum Network," Amanda explained. "It combines your quantum communications with our neural interface designs. Every human ship is connected, every crew thinking and acting as one, while maintaining individual creativity." Nix entered my cell, her silver skin showing patterns of both concern and wonder. "They're not just defeating us," she said quietly. "They're revolutionizing space travel, warfare, even the nature of consciousness itself. And they're doing it in weeks instead of centuries." The humans had turned their entire species into a vast, interconnected quantum computing network. Each person added their unique perspective, their individual creativity, to the collective knowledge base. But unlike our rigid hierarchical structure, their network was organic, flexible, constantly evolving. "Your empire spent 10,000 years perfecting your technology," Raj continued. "We took that perfection and made it better by making it messier, more human." The displays showed our colonies surrendering one by one, not out of fear, but out of fascination. The humans weren't destroying or subjugating them. They were sharing their innovations, teaching our people how to think differently. "We want you to understand something," Marcus said. "This isn't about revenge. It's about evolution. Your attack forced humanity to change, to grow, to become something new. And now we're offering the same opportunity to your people." I watched as human teachers began working with Arkturian scientists, showing them new ways to use their own technology. Our quantum drives were being modified with human innovations, creating ships that could navigate space in ways we had never imagined. Your civilization achieved perfection, Sophia observed. But perfection is static. Humanity thrives on imperfection, on the constant drive to improve, to adapt, to overcome. You gave us the tools, and we showed you what they could really do. The final displays showed human vessels approaching the Arkturian homeworld. But they weren't carrying weapons. They were carrying knowledge, innovation, and a fundamental challenge to everything we believed about progress. We could destroy your empire, Yuki said simply. But that would be a waste. Instead, we're going to teach you how to evolve, how to think differently, how to be a little more human. As I sat in my cell, watching 10,000 years of Arkturian superiority transform into something new, I finally understood the true scope of my mistake. We hadn't just failed to conquer humanity. We had given them the keys to the galaxy. And they were rewriting all the rules. Commander's log, galactic date 47.237.50. One standard month after my arrest, they released me. Not the Arkturian High Command, but the humans. They said keeping prisoners wasn't their style. Instead, they gave me a job, teaching at the newly established Earth Arkturian Academy of Innovation. Former Commander Sunweaver Amanda Blackwood greeted me on my first day, ready to help us reshape the galaxy. The Academy itself was a testament to how thoroughly humanity had transformed our understanding of everything. Quantum physics merged with human intuition. Arkturian precision combined with Earth's chaos theory. Students from both species working together, creating technologies that would have been impossible just months ago. Your first class arrives in 10 minutes, Raj Patel informed me, grinning. Try not to start any more interstellar wars. The classroom filled with young Arkturians and humans, their eyes bright with curiosity. Where once I saw only primitive beings to be conquered, now I saw partners in the greatest technological revolution our galaxy had ever known. The humans taught us something profound. I began my lecture. Perfection isn't the end goal. It's just another starting point. Through the classroom's quantum windows, we could see the transformed Arkturian fleet. Our once rigid ships now incorporated human biomechanical designs. The precision of quantum engineering enhanced by the unpredictability of human creativity. Sir, a young Arkturian student raised her appendage. Is it true that you were the one who first attacked Earth? Yes, I admitted. I made what I thought was a simple decision to conquer a primitive world. Instead, I accidentally triggered the greatest transformation our civilization has ever known. The humans had kept their word. They didn't destroy our empire, they changed it. The Arkturian High Command had been replaced by a joint council. Our strict hierarchy transformed into something more flexible, more adaptive, more human. The quantum network has picked up another signal, Sophia Kovac announced over the Academy's communication system. New civilization detected at the edge of known space. And this time Marcus Jackson added, we're doing it right. First contact protocols are already being transmitted. No quantum bombs required. The entire Academy gathered to watch as the joint Earth-Arkturian diplomatic fleet made peaceful contact with the new species. Our ships, once weapons of conquest, now carried messages of cooperation and innovation. You know what the funny thing is, Yuki Tanaka said, joining me at the observation window. If you hadn't attacked Earth, we might have taken centuries to develop quantum technology on our own. Your mistake accelerated human development by generations. A mistake that cost me my command, I noted, and nearly destroyed our empire. No, Amanda corrected. A mistake that saved your empire from stagnation. You gave us the tools to reach the stars. We showed you how to dream beyond perfection. Through the quantum feeds, we watched as the new civilization responded to our contact. Their reaction was one of wonder, not fear. This was how first contact should be. The students have a request, Nix announced, entering the observation room. My former first officer had become one of the Academy's most respected instructors. They want to hear the story again. How humanity turned defeat into revolution. You should tell it, I said to her. You saw the truth before I did. No, she replied. You need to tell it. As a reminder that sometimes the greatest discoveries come from our worst mistakes. Looking out at the transformed galaxy, at humans and Arkturians working together to explore and innovate, I realized that my greatest failure had led to our civilization's greatest triumph. Very well, I agreed. Let me tell you about the time I thought I was conquering Earth, but instead gave humanity the keys to the quantum realm. Let me tell you about how a primitive species taught an ancient empire how to evolve. Let me tell you about the greatest mistake that saved two civilizations. And remember, Amanda added with a smile, this is just the beginning. Humanity never stops asking what else is possible. As I began sharing my story with the next generation of explorers and innovators, I understood that the age of conquest was over. A new era had begun, one where perfection and chaos danced together, where ancient wisdom merged with boundless creativity. I, Cracksex Sunweaver, had set out to add another conquered world to our empire. Instead, I had helped give birth to something entirely new, a future where not even quantum science could predict what we might achieve together. And somewhere in the vast quantum network that now connected our civilizations, I could have sworn I heard the universe laughing at the beautiful irony of it all.